I am Teacher Ephrem NKUNZABO. I teach biology at Lycee De Kigali, and at the same time, I am a laboratory technician there. Uh, Today, we are going to look at Unit 1, Biology Senior 4, which is biodiversity. I'm happy that two of you, the students, are doing PCB combination. Yeah, means I am with you, you are with me. This is your area, and the other student who was asking about whether she can stay or not. Yeah, she was to stay because here, yeah, we see, I see you, Davin, because here we have mathematics here, the formulas according to those scientists men, and this can be needed in mathematics. So you're going to learn how to apply some formulas in the real life problems. This content of biodiversity, even though it is biology, you are going to face mathematical figures and situations in this topic of ours today. So let me share the screen. Introduction to biodiversity. Here you see the wonderful picture of some different types of living organisms. You see flowers, you see the insects, you see in their diversity. We have many types. Even though we have many which are known, still there are many others which have been not known, which are yet to be discovered. Objectives of the lesson today to be able to explain how diversity is threatened by climate change and human activities. Of course, this is after understanding what biodiversity is. What you should retain should now be able to define ecological terms. And because we are on this earth, this is now our nature, we are on this earth, this is our ecosystem. And when we talk about biodiversity, we understand the variety of living organisms, and this variety should be quantified. We should get numbers. How many types of this and that? Yes, those we should get number. The man Simpson's index, Simpsons is going to help by this concept called the Simpson's index of diversity to calculate the biodiversity of a habitat. Is it clear? We can now start by a short introduction. What is the role of biodiversity? Biodiversity is very important because all living organisms complement one another. They need one another. We as humans, we are in need of plants. Those plants are in need of us. Remember what we call, in ecology, what we call pyramids, with relationships and chains, no food chains. A food chain is what? We start from a plant and then we end by animals. Means that animals are depending on plants as food. Yes. And also plants depend on man on due to different activities, because help plants also. That's why we should sustain plants. Biodiversity play a critical role in sustaining human populations across the globe. To protect those plants, those species, plants and animals is very important because it is equal to protect ecosystems. Ecosystems, what is that? It houses some of the largest diverse of species in this world. And also, we get life from this ecosystem. When we talk about ecosystems, we have here living organisms plus non-living organisms. Even though we are talking about plants and animals, now let's talk about wind, weather, rainfall, mountains, rocks, etc. These are abiotic, non-living factors which are there in ecosystem, and we also need them. Ecosystems house largest diversity of species in the world, but also it provides life support services. Life support services, we can talk about rainfall. All of us know the role of rainfall. Then about ecological terms, we have the biodiversity, which is defined as full range of variety and variability within and among living organisms and ecological complexes in which they occur. This is the definition of biodiversity. Then we should know population, a group of individuals of the same species. When we talk about population, don't rush to understand man only. Can talk about the population of plants, a population of cows, population of insects, etc. Group of individuals of the same species in a particular area. Then a community. Now these are populations of different species. Now let's make the difference between a population and a community. Population, we understand individuals of the same species, but community, these are populations of different species. When we talk about now, we can see example of cows, birds, and shepherds. This is a community because we have now 3 different species. But a habitat, this is a specific area where those populations, those communities live. When the habitat is very small, as a micro habitat. Then what is a niche? This is the status or the role of organism in its habitat. We all know that all of us, we have a function, we have a role to accomplish in the areas in which we live. Example, you are learners, you are students. What is your role? Is to study first of all. You are students. When you are students, you are living in your schools. You are the ones to cater for those premises at the school. You mop, you do whatever. This is your niche. Yeah. And the example here, I'm a teacher. What is my role? To teach, to instruct learners. I dispense knowledge and skills. And after this, I have some other roles at home. Can feed my family. I can help the poor who live around me. This is the niche. Yeah? About the factors are those non-living physical aspects such as sunlight, soil, temperature, wind, water, and air. Why biotic factors? These are in life, living organisms in the environment. They interact with each other. An ecosystem, I have talked about as a natural unity consisting of biotic and abiotic factors. And I said that through ecosystem or from ecosystem, we get some sustainable factors which help us to live, such as wind. And that's why here they say it is a unity through which energy flows and nutrients recycle. And we get plants, and from plants we get food. We have wind, we have rainfall. From rainfall we get water. Yeah, this is an ecosystem. Its role. Then, what is a biome? It is a group of ecosystems that have the same climate and similar net communities. I understand that I come from Rwanda. This is an ecosystem. It's an example. In Rwanda, I have this climate. I enjoy it. A good rainfall, temperate zone. And when I shift to maybe same as here in Rwanda, same as Congo, this is can be an example of biome, a group of ecosystems that have the same climate and similar dominant community. When I talk about biosphere, what is biosphere? It's the whole of the Earth's surface. Here, the life where life is possible. Sea and air that is inhabited by living organisms. In biosphere, you understand bios, right? Is the sphere in which life is possible. The Earth's portion where life is possible. Biosphere is made up of all ecosystems. Is it clear? When you find a problem, you can ask. Maybe you can be not understand some specific term, and now you can ask when you have some problem. Okay, now let's go into mathematical concepts. We have now defined different ecological terms after understanding biodiversity. We have seen that living organisms are living there in ecosystems, accomplishing some tasks or roles, and we call it niche. And now, we are now concerned with the sustaining or conservation of those species. You should conserve what you know as in a number. How do I get that? These plants or these animals are getting in danger, endangered species. Their number tells, reveals whatever I need. That's why there is Simpson's diversity index. Simpson's diversity index say that a community dominated by one or two species considered to be less diverse than one in which several species have a similar abundance. Understand that we should be in a good number so as to be takes into account the number of species present as well as the relative abundance of each species. Species richness and evenness increases, so diversity increases. Here we are going to understand the two terms, richness and evenness. But first of all, let's see the formula of Simpson's diverse index calculation, whereby D is equal to 1 minus bracket, first of all, numerator summation of small n, bracket n minus 1 over big N, and over big N, bracket big N minus 1, whereby small n means total number of organisms of a particular species, and big N is the total number of organisms of all species. Now, let's now understand, before going far from this concept, let's give an example. Let me give an example to understand this. Here, let's understand guava. Example guava. Let's take the array 2. Purple, purple, we can get now 3. Let's get an example. Oranges, oranges, let's take 4. Then another, the last one maybe lemon. Lemon is 3. Are you able to read here? Lemon, let's take 2. Okay, we have anyone which is equal to 2. Then you have N2 which is equal to 3. Then you have N3 N4 which is equal to 2. These are smaller n's. Yes. What about big N? Now you find smaller n's. Smaller n's, you have N1 for guava, N2 for purple, N3 for oranges, N4 for lemon. Now, these are smaller n's. Now, what is n? The big N is equal to N1 plus N2 plus N3 plus N4, which is 5, 9, 11. Find this. Now, here on the numerator, we have this notation which is equal to n. Sorry, this is n minus 1. What does it mean here? The bracket is not there. I should now leave it. I should leave this bracket, okay? I want you to understand smaller n's. N bracket n minus 1. I first start by guava. If it is guava, it is 2 minus 1 for the first case. For the second case, now it will be 3 minus 1. You get me? Then for the third case, we have 4 minus 1. For the fourth case, the last case, it will be 2 minus 1. I want you to understand this formula. Here, for the second case, it will be 6. For the third case, it will be 12. For the last case, it will be 1. Then I find that the concept of bracket n, summation of n bracket n minus 1, it will be a summation of all those found numbers. That is 2 plus 6 plus 12 plus 1. My dear students, do you get me? Because we are going to have examples which are going to be done by you. But allow me to understand this formula and its application. Here, what is the answer? It will be 8, 2021. That is 2021. Now, we have seen that it is over bigger N, N minus 1. Now it will be 21 over what? I've seen that bigger N is 11. Now it is 11 over 11 minus 1. That is 21 over 110. Are we together? Are we together, please? I want to make sure
Yes.
that you do understand this, no problem?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
We are going now to have an example which will be done by you. Okay, now here it's a matter of a calculator. Now you can now have a calculation. When you calculate, you should get D, which is between minus 0, no, which is between 0 and 1. Yeah, this is the value. D is found between 0 and 1. Do you have some more calculators or simple machines to calculate? Let me help you with my phone. I wanted to go before you understanding this application, this formula, because it will be easier and it will be quick now if you understand this. 21 over 110. Now, very good, wonderful. Do you know the answer? The answer I get here is 0, 1, 0.119. Yeah, this is the answer. Never, the Simpson's diversity index is beyond 1 or below 1. It is always between 0 and 1. Now we are going to understand the implication of this. So looking at the formula, I think you immediately now get what it means. Numerator, the smaller n's, you understand them. When they are summed up over the bigger n, bracket n minus 1. Okay. Any problem? I think there is no problem. Smaller n's, these are relative indexes. But big N is now the summation of those smaller n's. I think now you understand what I was doing. Now let's continue. Uh, let's continue now. Okay, I'm coming back, but don't worry. I was here. Simpson's diversity index, the value of the range infinite diversity and zero no diversity. My dear students, I want you to now immediately understand the application of this in real life. Suppose you are an agronomist, you are a consultant in agriculture, and now there are farms, the associations which farm different crops, and now you are to consult them, make consulting service to know whether they will have a good yield from their crops, how far, how well, how good their vegetation is. Now you are going to apply Simpson's D, Simpson Diverse Index. Then you will calculate. If you go into a farm, we find maize, maybe mixed with beans, maybe mixed with other plants. You can now apply this formula and you find the value. Is it near zero? Is it above zero? Is it near one? Here they say that you can now estimate biodiversity of the farm. Yeah, when you find this below one or near one, they say that there is diversity. But when you find zero, and say that there is no diversity, some crops have not been grown, others maybe have been killed by some arid conditions, bad conditions of the weather. Yeah, hereby this formula can help you to understand if this farm will produce much or more. Yeah, this is the now value. The larger value represents what diversity. Let's compare this graph of diversity. Let's compare. I think it's not clear way, but you find those in squares and those they are in squares. They are few, while others are many. Larger value represents what diversity. Let's compare this. What does it mean? Let's compare the two. Lemons and oranges. When you find oranges are many and more compared to the lemons, this is not a diversity because diversity means there is a balance. This value they talk about here is the value of no, should not dominate another. They should go hand in hand so as to make the stability in the ecosystem. Here there is another example. C. Hori 2, Sand Coach 8, C. Bindweed 1, Sporobras pungens 1, Echinopula spinosa 3. When you sum them up, they make a total of 15. Yes, this is bigger N, 15. While on the other column, you see smaller n bracket n minus 1. This is now 2. 2 minus 1 is equal to 2. You understand the procedure now. Huh? If you have a problem, you can ask. But this is the same as we are doing the previous page. You see that D will be equal to 64 over 15. That 15 times 14 because it is bigger n bracket n minus 1 and you see that the value is equal to 0.7. Now let's understand the two terms, richness and evenness. Before proceeding, allow me, if you remember well and understood the two terms, smaller ends and big N. Let me start by number 2, evenness. Evenness, put smaller n there at evenness, a measure of relative abundance of different species making up the richness. Evenness, let me annotate like this. By evenness, this is presented by smaller n. Yes. Why by richness, I can represent it by big N. Rich and evenness, these are small values making a particular richness. You understand? Because we have seen that all of the N can be representing richness. It can represent richness. Are you able to understand the two terms? Richness is the number of species per sample. More species present in a sample, the richer the sample. Species richness as a measure on its own takes no account of the number of individuals. Here you understand the number of individuals. When I talk about the number of individuals, that is N1, N2, N3, etc. Yeah? The number of individuals of each species that is not taken into account. It gives us much, you see, it gives us much weight to those species which have very few individuals as to those which have many individuals. Now, what is evenness? As I said, it is a measure of the relative abundance of different species making an area. Now we have two terms, richness, bigger N, with evenness, smaller N's. Yes, I think you understand. Any problem? Any problem before I continue? Okay, I think there is no problem. Here, let's analyze this figure, diverse between richness and evenness. Here on this side, you have less diverse, while on this side, you have more diverse. Yeah? What does it mean? Less diverse, first of all. Let's understand less diverse. Here, we find the one zeros. Let's now compare to this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Okay, 3, 4, 5. When you compare this to this, you find that this is greater. Hmm? Yeah, this is greater. Then also, let's compare this. Find all of this. They are of the same species. We call them 1. Then this, let's call this 2. Then let's call this 3. Now let's compare with this one. Here we have 1, we have 2, and you have 3. Always this is greater. This is more stable. Why is it more stable? This is more stable because what is the reason? I say that stability involves balance between living organisms. Here, there is balance. There is balance. Who see the reason of balance here? Who can see the reason of balance? Because you see 1, we have 2. Second species, you have 2. Third species, you have also 2. There is a balance. While here, no balance. No balance. Why? Because you see all of these. This is only 1, and this is only 1. These individuals represent evenness. Individuals, evenness. If you remember well, when we talk about evenness, now we talk about individual species. But for richness, now this is all species. Yeah, all species. Yeah, I think now you understand richness, the difference between richness and the evenness. Any problem here? Any problem? Okay, Simpson's diversity of index. Here, always these are examples which are coming. A community dominated by 1 or 2 species is considered to be less diverse than one in which several different species have a similar abundance. You understand? If you have one type of this and another type of that, but then it's not comparable to as an ecosystem which is have a big number of different species. Species richness and evenness. As species richness and evenness increase, so diversity increases. You understand now there is an automatic relationship between evenness and richness. Evenness means these are individual species which are going to be assembled together, and this assembly is now what we call richness. Simpson's the index measures like the probability. So, sorry. Simpson's index D measures the probability that the two individuals randomly selected from a sample may belong to the same species. Patterns of the formula for calculating D either is acceptable but inconsistent. This is sufficient for you. I can take this formula. Now, here we have exercise. Unfortunately, I have revealed the answers in the color, but I still have your praise. And though I revealed the answers here, we can now exercise to make sure you get the same answer. But let me skip and let's go into the homework. Now, let's. This is the homework we do at home. No, let me come back. Number one, please. I want someone who is going to be annotating, showing us the way we get this answer of B. Who can now try? Applying the formula of Simpson, who can prove whether B is correct or not? See, we are now a big number of participants. We started with few, but now, fortunately, I see we are many. Hello, my friends, all of you who were not with us at the beginning. I think you have been able to be with us while explaining. Now you have got something. Now, who can help us to prove if the answer given is wrong or correct?
Ephrem.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I see Nikuze raising a hand.
Oh.
Maybe she wants to respond.
Okay. Nikuze.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
She can unmute herself and then use annotation to respond to the first question, first exercise.
It's possible even writing within these characters. And annotate, please.
Irene, please, floor is yours. Feel free to use all this space down here. Respond to the question. All here, this space.
Showing the smaller n's, their summation making big N, and the numerator and the denominator. So to apply the formula immediately.
I see someone trying to write down. I don't know who he is. The person who is responding to the question, please unmute yourself. Yeah. And then so that we can know who is responding.
Thank you.
Okay.
On N, we had different species. So we had peach pines. Let's call it N1.
Yes.
Then
Show it by annotation.
N1. N1 is going to be equal to 134.
Yes. Annotate where, Simostre, when you control your hand.
Yes. So N1 N1 is equal to 134.
Yes. Class first.
Is equal to 24.
Yeah.
Then lead pines, let's call it N3. Then it's going to be N3 equal to 53.
Yes.
Then to calculate
Annotation.
N, big N,
Yes, big N.
big N will be equal to
I see you are
200.
mixing all of them. There is a space below there. Feel free to use that space.
Then N, N will be equal to 211. Then to calculate N times N minus 1, then on N1, we'll find that N times N minus 1 is going to be equal to 17,822.
Yeah, write it well so that we can
Yeah.
get it.
Then Then going on the next, N minus N times N minus 1 will be equal to 552.
Yes.
The next one, N3 times N 3 minus 1 will be equal to 27.
That is 53, bracket 53 minus 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Huh?
Then we'll find that it's equal to 2756. Oh, then after we can calculate total, which is the summation of what we did, which is going to be equal to 21,130.
Okay. I think you have somewhere to have your data because here it is not visible as long as you are in need of them.
Then sum of n times n minus 1 will be equal to 21,130. N minus 1 over big N times n minus 1.
Wonderful.
After going through the calculations, you find that D is going to be equal to 0.52.3.
0.52.
Yeah, around there.
Almost mine of 0.53. Yeah. Is it okay? Now you understand well. The same to others?
Yes.
Very good. Now, Remy, let's take a short time to make exercise individually in that homework before we go. We end our session. Let's individually work on one exercise in the homework. I think each and everyone is now understanding these calculations. Here we have the homework. Let's make number 3. No problem here. Even though we are in our classroom, let's take only 5 minutes to calculate it, the D value, after which we go home. We will end our session of today. 5 minutes, quickly. Quickly, please. 5 minutes. I'm going to calculate my time. Put over my time, please.